What's up,
Hey,
people?
We're back to talk about the book.
We're back. Yes, and we do read. Actually, no, I'm lying. We weren't reading. We were listening.
we do
To the
listen.
audiobook.
Read, listening, both.
We're great listeners. If you
I
need somebody to
actually,
talk to,
I did read the books years ago, but the problem when you like read, especially old paperbacks, is they tend to fan out and they don't stay like this.
Yeah, in the
I
bindings,
remember
you don't want to mess the bindings up further, Pat.
I read the original one years ago, and then I stacked it on top of a bunch of. I had put it at the bottom of a bunch of other hippie books, and it flattened
Yeah.
right back out.
Hey,
Very nice.
we probably talked about it the first week. What's the copyright of the very first one? Is it around Halloween 2, obviously, because there's stuff from Halloween
79.
2 away? Wow, it's 79. So they took stuff
79.
from the book and put it in Halloween 2 then, I'm guessing.
Yep.
yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, we'll
they
talk
did.
about that. Sorry. Okay.
Yep. No, we'll get there. Yeah. It's
It's a good
I just
point.
have to look and see Halloween 2, how many chapters are in that book. I do forget. So we'll break it up evenly. This worked out perfectly because it was 15 chapters,
5 each. Yeah.
5 each, plus the prologue in the beginning. But I have to look at Halloween 2. Maybe when we're done going through this, I'll grab it off the shelf real quick and just to take a look, because I'm curious myself. I meant to look and I forgot. Joseph, the hard guys, you're watching
Sorry.
Halloween 4. This guy, you love your Danielle Harris, man. Nothing wrong
You
with that.
do. But you know what, dude? I'll tell you, Joseph, when I first met her, I was starstruck. And Pat will still make fun of me. I was starstruck in August still.
He was still staring at her.
Pat's like, you hornball, stop it.
Hey, she's gorgeous. She's got a big forehead, but she's the best.
Yeah, and she's like what, 4'8"?
Yeah, she's tiny.
Super
She's
short.
miniature. She's
I
mini.
shouldn't say that. That's not nice.
No, I know, but she's a hottie. She's a cutie, and she knows it.
She does.
Yeah, she's good to go. But guys, so this is it. Everybody finished the book.
She won't love me.
All right.
She will
Yeah,
come
She
to
will
it.
love
then.
me.
it was for a first timer here. Actually, listening to it for the first time, it was really fun and enjoyable, and I didn't catch myself getting bored. That's what I loved about it. Was it kept me on the edge of my seat. Damn it.
Yeah, it's interesting the way certain aspects of the movie were changed in the book. The way he changed certain things and certain iconic things that weren't in the book. That weren't in the movie, that were in the book, or and vice versa. So
Yeah.
it's definitely pretty cool.
I don't know how you guys were when you were reading when I was younger. So when I got the book, I was reading a ton of stuff back then, and I don't do that nearly as much nowadays. So doing listening to the audio section of it was a lot of fun to do. So
It's so audio things is it's a lifesaver, because I did same thing when I was younger. I used to love to read. I just don't have the time. And my problem is now, the older I get, the more I try to sit and read. I'll do like a half a chapter, and I'm like,
well, and you guys
"That's
probably
the book's
too.
boring. I'm just tired."
Like you, every time we're gonna take notes reading a book, you'd have to put the book down, write stuff down. Like here, I'm just like I leave it on and I write my notes.
Yeah, it's like impossible to do. By the way, it's like I was saying earlier to Pat. Is like I'm good. It's good to listen to, and you catch like the big chunks and things like that. But you kind of, a lot of the dialogue, you kind of just like you might miss first time around unless you like listening to it on repeat.
I love in Joe's window there, like the books are on his face, on Michael DeStandy's face. He's advertising right there.
It's like right there. It's like right on his face.
Put your hand, yeah, put your hand over it.
There it is. Like this.
That's good. That's good. Oh man.
So we left off last week, 2 weeks ago rather, with chapter 10. Chapter 10 was the end of chapter 10 was where Annie and Laurie are driving and they go to their babysitting jobs. And the audible version, if you guys did the one on YouTube, which you guys know, and I mentioned this in the last podcast, I don't understand what the guy did, but he actually read like the first couple of pages of chapter 11 and made it seem like it was chapter 10. So we're going to pick up technically where he was still reading as part of 10. I don't know why he did it, whatever. Praise to that guy for doing this for us. I have no complaints.
Oh hell yeah, with the music and everything, man. He hit home run.
Yeah, the music, even the way, just the way he does it, it's funny as hell.
We should try to find him. Maybe we'll have him on our show sometime. We should look for him.
Yeah,
and say,
definitely.
Hey,
and
that'd be
so
fun.
chapter 11, I'm calling the Doyle and Wallace houses, because that's pretty much where we're introduced to their houses and what's going on, and Annie and Laurie doing their babysitting duties with Tommy and Lindsay. But it starts out, like I said, if you did the audible, this was part of what he was considering 10, where Michael is following the girls, and it makes note of it. in the previous episode, I made note of it, that Annie did see the station wagon. She makes note that she didn't say it to Laurie, but you know how the dialogue is, she's thinking it. He was seeing in her rearview mirror that Michael's following her.
That's right.
He was off on Main Street when they got to Nicholson's hardware. But she didn't think anything of it. She's like, whatever, he's gone. Didn't think anything of it. But they make note of it because people, I was like, wow, he was like tailgating. How did you not notice that? Well, in the book, they make notice that she did see he was driving.
Yeah, didn't they reminisce with that when she's talking to Laurie on the phone about Ben Traver going to the dance? I think that's when it's said, right? I think in that phone conversation, or the author puts it in there at that spot.
He might, probably, yeah. And he's just so here they are now. They're driving, and Michael's following again, and they make note that he's following with his headlights off from a distance. So in the movie, of course, he's got the headlights on, but
sure
he anything you want in a book. And Michael is going over in his head because he's seeing trick or treaters, and he sees one that's a clown, and it takes him back to being a clown. Yeah. And it makes mention of him remembering wearing the clown suit and having the hat with the ball hanging over it, which is odd because you never realize he had a hat. You know, like a clown hat with the ball hanging off the side. It makes no with a clown hat with the ball. Like
only if it was like the little Terrifier hat.
Oh yeah.
Oh
man. And the feeling comes, the feeling to kill just keeps coming over him. Actually, if you guys remember, I made note of this. He's thinking about the first time he had the feeling to kill. Mm-hmm. And apparently, I guess he must have been bobbing for apples, or they say ducking for apples.
Ducking, yeah.
When he was a kid, and that's when the feeling came over him, and that's when he went home. It's like it just took over him, and that's when he went home and he killed Judith. Am I right with that? Right?
Oh, bless you. Oh yeah.
I tried to mute it there. I was too late. Damn it. No, that's what I remember as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what other notes I have thinking about how he's through the key. Oh, here it goes. He's thinking about how he saw Judith through the keyhole, because apparently Michael was a fucking complete pervert, spying through the keyhole at his own sister, and how the voice said, "Pink, firm, with beautiful jutting nipples, tight buttocks, round high breasts."
The voice telling him, "Get the breast, get the arm."
Yes.
Right it is.
Yeah, that was the very disturbing part.
Curtis Richards was very descriptive when it came to the sex scenes or anything to that effect. So I made a lot of notes because I didn't even make notes on all of it. Some of it is just out there. What's Joseph saying here? Oh, he wants to make his own Halloween book. Yeah, why not write a book? A lot of people have been doing that. They all do their fan films and whatnot.
Halloween 6 really needs to have a book like a hybrid of the movies.
It would have been nice. That's why it would have been great if Nicholas Grabowski would have did it, like I had mentioned. Voice told him he must carve those breasts and buttocks into 1,000 slabs of bloody meat.
Yeah,
that's
he's got a little Art the Clown there.
Seriously, could you imagine if he acted exactly the way he was thinking? It would have been like Terrifier kills.
If he's laughing like Art the Clown, yeah.
And as he's looking, because he's thinking about it, he's remembering the voice in his head, like the little kid voice telling the big kid voice, like, "I don't want to do this. I'm going to get in trouble. Mom and Dad are going to kill me." Mm-hmm. But now he's remembering. He said, "Well, now I'm an adult, and there's nobody that can take me away. I can just do this." Because he was afraid of getting in trouble back then with his parents, but now it's just like, well, parents are gone. I can do whatever I want.
That's fucking. I like how practical it is. Like, it's not like it's a child mentality. It's not like a, evil made him do it type thing.
It's very simplistic. It's just like an animal. Like an animal would think.
Very simplistic. That's right. Very simple.
Yeah.
Not thinking about what he's going to do, just thinking about his own consequences. Like, okay, how's this going to affect me? I'm going to get in trouble. Not I shouldn't kill her because it's wrong. It's like, I don't want to get in trouble. And this was, I remember, I had to write this down when he was like, oh, the voice in his head telling him to stick it in her heart.
Yeah.
In her face, her legs, her arm.
Like every limb possible.
Stab her, slash her, slice her, kill her. That's the voice going on in his head when he was killing Judith.
Can you imagine if he said the private areas?
Yeah, that
guy.
part.
Oh, yeah.
That part reminded me of when Chucky got his head shut off, and he's like, kill him, do it, come on,
Yes.
kill him, do it. And then the body's all like, no head.
That's his Arnold Predator. Do it now. Come on.
Come on, kill him, kill.
Kill him.
I don't know why I thought about that when I was hearing that.
You made me think of Predator was saying that too. I remember.
Do it, I'm here. Do it. Come on.
on.
I'm here. He's like the
God dang, he needed to do another Predator movie. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
Oh, he's so
No.
should.
That's what this is about, man. We can go for a tangent. Hey, what the hell? Then what if people didn't realize, because people tend to see him in the movie going straight and stalking Annie first, but in the novelization he goes and stalks Laurie first.
And Laurie
Yeah.
first. Yes.
So he goes over there. He goes around the house looking for open windows, open doors, and it does make note that he noticed the French windows that were open, which he'll come in later on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He makes notice that was there, and he's staring at her with Tommy, and remembering that's the little boy that was being picked on that he was stalking too, and he's going through his mind saying how much she reminds him of Judith.
Psychological notes there. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
There's
"I'm gonna
a
use
lot
this
of
to-
geography of the Doyle house that's different from not different, but added into this. It's
Yes.
really
Oh, yeah.
fascinating.
And then, of course, after he's done stalking her, he crosses the street. He ducks in some bushes because some trick-or-treaters coming by. And then he crosses the street, and then he does the same thing. He surveys the
residence,
Wallace house, looking for doors and everything that's open. And it makes notice that he does go check out the stupid laundry house outside the building, outside the house rather, and takes a look at that. And then he's stalking the dark-haired girl who had large breasts that jutted out even when her arms were outstretched.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, and the bulge in front of above her panties made the sex between his legs throb in an unpleasant way.
That is crazy.
This Jamie Lee Curtis Richards guy, I think this helped him.
Yeah, he was very graphic.
Made him feel better.
Not only was Michael a murderer, but he was an absolute fucking pervert.
Absolutely. He's like
Man after my own heart.
he's like a
Norman Bates in him.
sexual deviant, man. Damn.
And basically the voice in his head gets so loud, and the feeling in his body gets so bad, and that's why he has to kill, because it just makes it go away. That's like seems to be what calms it down.
That's crazy.
And makes note of him that he's got in his belt. He's got the knife and the rope that he stole from the hardware store. What else? The boogie. Oh, when the scene. There's a lot of scenes the same, like the scene where they're sitting on the couch and Laurie's reading the comic books.
Yep.
But then he does ask, just like in the movie. He says, "Laurie, what's the boogeyman?" And she says, "The boogeyman eats little boys who read comic books." So they don't get the thing. He's like, "What?" She's like, "No, I'm only kidding."
Just playing.
And that's when the phone call with Annie comes, right? And that I know the phone call with Annie has the
Yeah, you guys read some notes. If you guys go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm just adding some stuff. I know Tommy.
No, go right ahead.
Tells Laurie that the boogeyman's there, and then what does Annie say? Ask him if he wants to get laid.
Ask him if he wants to get laid.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that was one of my things.
I had to write that down too. Nope, I made note of that too. And then Lester doesn't just start barking like in the movie. Lester comes over and attacks her and starts biting her crotch. So obviously,
Yeah, what the hell was that? Right?
Fucking Lester the molester, man.
And most likely a little spanky down there that he was like, what's that?
Lester the molester.
And he says, Lester is tearing my crotch out. And that dog doesn't like me. And Laurie says, I think he does like you.
How did Rob Zombie not put that into his movie?
Hey.
Serious, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of dirty shit that he could have pulled from this movie, this book rather. And there's actually some scenes that we're going to get to that, to me, are reminiscent of some of the scenes that were different from the original to the zombie version.
Yeah.
And he says, just like a man going for the crotch. And she says, that's the only action I'll see tonight. And
that's where the laundry room comes into play. And yeah, that's something that the communication of where the laundry room's at in the yard, that's totally added in. Not used to seeing that
Yeah.
or hearing
Well, I
that
got a
from
note
him.
here that says Tommy sees Michael like in the film across the street, and Laurie says, "Oh, the scene where she's on the phone, and then not Michael, Tommy just wanders off, and he pulls
He
the
looks
curtain and sees-
across. Yeah, he looks
Yeah,
across.
so he does. So he does see them, and so that part is pretty much the same. And then you see Michael reappear, at, by the Wallace's kitchen door, just like the movie.
Mhm.
And let's see, she spills butter all over because of Lester, because Lester nipping out. That's how she spills the butter. In the movie, she just klutz.
Yep.
Good old Lest.
And what is this? Due to Lester, Linda what to?
Now,
Annie spills the butter, and then due to Lester, and what is? I wrote this down, but I'll have to think about that. What else you got?
No, it's the conversation with Paul after the laundry room. I'm guessing still like it is in the movie. I lost track of that spot.
Yeah, I think so. There was only one thing that I remember that was out of order, and I did make a note of it. Michael watches Annie and thinks she doesn't look like Judith, and says that they don't have to look like Judith. They don't have to be girls. And it's his justification for not just killing women that look like Judith. The justifications, they don't have to look like her. They don't have to. It's whatever's going to calm that voice in his head and that feeling in his body, pretty much.
That's right.
I think it was just per chance that he happened to see Laurie, who reminded him so much of. Well, they say Judy through the whole book, not even Judith.
Yeah.
And they don't have to be girls. Nothing. Annie is wearing. Oh, and Annie's wearing. It's make noted. He's wearing he comments on her ass, but she's wearing a skirt. And the thing, she's got pants and a t-shirt on, but and this, it's apparently she's wearing a red sweater and a skirt.
Easy access. Very nice.
Yes, indeedy. I remember the days of just wear a skirt tonight. Why? Just wear a skirt.
Just wear a skirt. No jeans.
It's just easier.
Yeah, just
it's just don't wear anything complicated.
Just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Even more simple, Commando.
And this is where and when she spills it, then she's in her panties, and that's where it says Michael notices her sensual bulge over her crotch.
All
that made him breathe heavier, and his hand was clenching the knife.
So Michael really loved Bush, I guess. He loved Bush. Yeah, he loved Bush.
It makes me.
I couldn't like Michael Myers even more now.
It makes me think of that famous picture with Mike when he has his his suit with the heart on.
He's a big fan of George Bush. Big fan.
We've got Bush. We've got Bush. Michael knocks down the plant, of course, just like in the movie.
Yep.
And, startles her, and Annie goes to the door and looks out.
He runs back. He runs out of view.
Yeah, he runs and jumps in the bushes.
He's stealth, man. He's stealth.
That would have been a good scene in the movie.
Yeah.
You see him jump and hide, and then maybe see his face in the bushes, and she don't see it. That would have been a great scene.
Hell yeah.
And then the whole scene basically plays out where she lets Lester out, and Lester finds Michael. Michael jumps out and kills Lester.
Kills his ass.
That's my crotch, Lester.
That's right.
And everybody's always wondering, they don't give a shit about this dog, but it does make notice that Andy and Lindsay did go out and try to look for him.
They did.
And then just figured, all right, he must have just ran off, but he'll come home.
No, he fuck ain't. No, the fuck he ain't. He's dead.
I don't think there was chips in 1978. I could be wrong.
Yeah, his ass ain't coming. Oh, Michael does not like dogs. Well, she does like dogs. He obviously, maybe he likes them with a nice Chianti.
Yeah, nice key handy.
Nope, different series. But that's what I have on chapter 11. You guys have anything?
No,
anything to add?
No, 11 was kind of it was a couple of changes from the movie here and there, but it was interesting and fun. The interaction between Tommy and Laurie was fun and stuff. So we're getting geared up for the finale. This is kind of the revving of the engine. Yeah, the revving of the engine.
The RPMs are kipping. The idle.
We're ready to go.
We're priming ourselves. We're tailgating.
It was a short chapter from what I remember.
Yeah, it was very short.
It was very short.
I lost track of where it ended at first.
Yeah, it was real short, and it's chapter 12. I'm like, holy shit! I was like, that's it. All right, let's go. Let's go. Yeah.
So we'll move on to chapter 12. Chapter 12 is where we see him kill somebody. It's Annie's death.
That's right.
So this is when all the hot shit starts. So you guys have anything you want to start with? Any notes that you guys made from when it starts?
No, I don't know if this is where I need the timeline. Is it when she's talking to Paul? Because I didn't remember Paul. Well, Paul idea for Lindsay to go to Tommy's house, that was different for me. I was like, oh, I got to make note of that.
Yeah, that's right. It was Paul's idea, but it starts out where Annie asking Lindsay where the washer is because she can't find it.
That's right, the laundry room. Yeah.
And Annie does, and everybody always says, like I've said for years, like what kind of a jackass puts a washer and dryer out in the fucking shed? But it's addressed in the novel. Annie does ask why the washer and dryer are outside, and Lindsay says her mom didn't like the noise. And Annie says, well, I guess she does like the inconvenience then, because it's all the way outside. So who would put their stuff out there? But now you know why, because obviously Mrs. Wallace didn't want to listen to hated the noise, so she stuck it out there in the yard. And
well, it's kind of like what nowadays people like the washer and dryer upstairs if they're in a 2-story home now too.
Yeah, it's in a closet in my kitchen. It's great. It's easy. You can just keep doing shit. It's great. Laundry room. The laundry room scene plays out the same. You know,
Yeah.
Only thing I did make note of is that the first time she tries to get out the window, she tries to go out feet first. And then she decided to come back in and go head first. And she does hear Michael in the bushes, and she starts getting scared and starts calling for Lindsay for help.
That's right.
She doesn't hear the phone ring because she didn't even know the phone rang until Lindsay comes out. She's hearing something in the bushes and she's starting to get fucking scared. And it's Michael.
Yep.
And so she's yelling for Lindsay, and Lindsay finally comes out, and then he retreats and says, and every time people are like, oh, he could have just killed them both. He does make note in his head, like, okay, it's not the right time. I'll have another opportunity. You know?
Yeah. It seems to me like he was really, really eyeing Annie for whatever specific reason. Like he really was like gonna enjoy this kill. Like he was really like taking his time with it, you know.
He liked her jutting breasts and her pubic bulge.
Yeah.
There's got to be a little bit of sexual drive there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so much.
Absolutely. I didn't really think of Annie from the movie as like, you know, sexually. I didn't really consider her sexy per se, but in this book, it's a 180, man. You really think of her as like super hot,
big time.
Oh yeah,
and
much better than Dr. Chalice's ex-wife and how.
Oh my god, to say the least, she looked all old and shit.
Like Freddie made a note of. I made the note too. That, you know, the phone call comes in from Paul, and it's actually Paul's idea to leave Lindsay over at the Doyle house, because he's like, oh, come over. He's like, but I can't leave because my parents said they're going to call to check in. So that's the reason why he can't leave. So he says, well, and he says, well, you know, Laurie's right across the street. Why don't you just drop Lindsay off over there and come over? So it was actually his idea.
Yeah, and how about Lindsay not liking Tommy Doyle, right? That was like, whoa.
That's my next line. Lindsay says that she doesn't like Tommy Doyle. I wrote that down too, yeah.
Sorry, okay.
Because in the movie, she seems excited. Like, how about if it'd be okay if I get Tommy Doyle? Yeah, I'll watch it. Like, as if to say, like, yeah, she has no problem. But it does make note that she doesn't like Tommy Doyle.
She's got that kinky in the movie.
He's a bit of a pansy, though, to be honest. I'm just saying. So I see that. He's a bit of a pansy in this book.
Yes, he is.
And then when they get across the street, obviously, you know, Michael is watching them across the street, just like, you know, he pops up in that one stinger scene in the film. And Laurie answers the door with a knife, and she's like, "What's going on?" And she sees this knife, like, and she gets all freaked out and scared because Laurie's still nervous about all the shit that's going on. Because, like we talked about in the previous thing, she's still got the jitters about Michael stalking her. She doesn't even know who it is, and she still keeps thinking about the Myers thing over and over again ever since she had to drop the key off the Myers house. So that's all from the previous chapter. So this is going on in her head.
Yeah.
So she's answering the door with a fucking knife, and then she's like, "Whoa, hey, it's me."
Tommy's not answering the door. It's Laurie. It's like it's
Laurie.
A little bit of a change.
Take it easy. Take it easy, man.
Take it easy, Mike.
Annie and Laurie's scene plays out the same to what I remember. Do you guys remember anything different? Like them chatting about Ben Dramer, and you know, if you watch her, I'll consider talking to him. I don't remember there being anything different.
I remember Laurie just being grateful that she was a good friend. I think something like that.
Right. She was thinking, you know, in the movie, you think she's like, oh, I can't believe she did that. But in the novelization, she's thinking like, you know, I guess, you know, I shouldn't be mad at her. She was just doing it to be nice and for my benefit. Yeah. She's a real good friend.
She was grateful for her friendship and the things she was trying to do for her. So she knew she wasn't trying to be malicious in any way.
Right. It was for her own good. It wasn't to be a dick.
Yeah, and it was very
Scout comes through again.
That's right. It was very endearing. It was very cute. I thought that interaction was cool.
And one notice too, like when she does leave to go get Paul, instead of just going to get her bag,
she goes
and walk out of the house. She goes to get her clothes.
That's right. Yeah.
So she goes to the laundry room and gets her skirt and her sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So she does do that first. And then now this scene I wrote down because this scene is very reminiscent of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. So when she goes back inside to get the keys, the phone rings, and who is it?
It's
Sheriff Brackett.
Sheriff Brackett calling to warn her.
Lock the doors and the windows.
If you see anything suspicious, call it in. Stuff like that, right?
Very reminiscent of Brad Dourif calling Danielle Harris in part 2. Saying, just be careful. Just checking in on her. So it's very reminiscent of that. So he knew he knew she was babysitting. Just be careful. Lock the doors. Anything suspicious, So I thought that was pretty cool.
She was clueless. She didn't care. She didn't care.
Exactly. She just didn't. Oh yeah, sure. If he only knew what I was doing or something like that, she said.
Yeah, she felt protected of that blanket of that her father was a cop or sheriff or whatever. She was
like
very
she was untouchable.
Very ignorant, very, very immature in that aspect. And thus you see what happens to her ass.
Yeah, and that's especially in a lot of the documentaries.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of the documentaries, it's just like people used to sit there and say, well, you're punishing the girls for being promiscuous but it's okay for the guys. No, it's just they're just trying to show you how naive and how oblivious they were to their surroundings. That's why Laurie was the survivor, because she was paying attention to her surroundings.
She had been dreading it.
Laurie, Annie, and Linda were not.
Yeah, they were just a lot of DE, whatever, didn't give a damn in their own world. And Laurie was the only one that was on mission. She's like, nah, this shit ain't right.
Yeah, she's watching out and she's just being cautious.
Yeah.
One thing I did make note of is when she goes back to the car in the movie, all of a sudden the door's open. She just gets in. The door's unlocked, but when she gets back, the door's open.
Yeah.
She thinks about it in her head. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, did I leave it open? I don't even remember. But she's so clueless. Like that, I would be like, dude, who opened my door? I know I didn't leave the fucking door open.
And I would definitely look in the back seat.
Hell yeah. You always look in the back seat. How many times, even in this day, like if I did my car, I always look in the back seat. Nothing's ever happened, but I just do it anyway.
Force a habit.
Hey, that's in that movie Urban Legend? You remember that? Look in the back seat. Isn't that what's his name? That's fucking Brackett. That's what's his name from Rob Zombie?
Brad Dourif?
Chucky. Yeah, that's Brad Dourif. He's the one who says that in that movie Urban Legend. He's trying to warn the girl, look in the back seat, but he looks like a bum, and there's a killer in the back seat.
I didn't catch that Brad Dourif's in that movie. I didn't remember that.
Yeah, he does that cameo in that. Yeah. Look in the back seat. And she's like, fuck you, you weirdo. And then there's a killer in the back. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
Dude, that was awesome.
From what I wrote down, the kill scene in the car pretty much played. I mean, of course, a little bit of word dialogue different, but I don't remember anything being different.
Yeah, he even used the car horn in the
video.
She's
pushing in the horn just like that. Yeah. And I think I'll just play that pretty much the same. A lot that's going on. Yeah, like there's a lot going on in her head as she's dying. That type of thing. She's thinking to herself.
And then she does the cross-eyed. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she's like.
It's got to do the steam engine.
That's the worst faces she makes. I'll have to say that. Car scene, and this when they flash back to the Doyle house, it says Tommy and Lindsay are watching The Creature from the Black Lagoon. When in the movie they're watching the thing from
I forgot to take that down. How about that? No Thing from Another World or Forbidden Planet, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome. Creature from the Black Lagoon rocks ass.
Great movie.
Hopefully they can make a good remake somewhere down the road.
Hopefully.
Tommy did the same thing, where he got up, went behind the thing, and tried to scare Lindsay, and then he sees, Michael just like in the movie. And when he's talking to her, he's saying, "I saw the boogeyman. He was carrying a body," which in the movie he doesn't say. He just said, "I saw him outside." He's like, "No, I saw him carrying a body." You know, it's like, listen to me, bitch.
And then Laurie's
Listen
like,
to me.
listen, Tommy, you pumpkin pie haircutted freak.
You pumpkin pie haircut.
That hair. that hair is crazy. And that,
I love
So,
no
and
offense,
that's-
Brian Andrews. Sorry.
no offense. I think that's what I have for chapter 12. You guys have
Yeah.
anything to add or anything I missed or any discussions? I mean, it pretty much plays out the same. A couple of subtle differences here and there, but nothing
No.
dramatic.
The two things you brought, Laurie answering the door with the knife instead of Tommy answering the door, and Sheriff Brackett calling Annie. That would have been a nice touch in the film, but that's all right. I get it.
It would have been, yeah. That would have been very cool to see, especially the phone call, which would have been ironic, him calling to say, be careful, do everything, and then completely disregarding it and get killed in the next minute.
Yeah,
That would have been pretty cool.
for sure.
So that is chapter 12, Annie's death.
Annie's death.
Chapter 13, I'm calling The Kids at the Myers House and Bob and Linda.
Bob and Linda.
Bob. And Bob is like this guy. He's the man, according to this freaking book.
Boom.
We'll get to that.
The
He's
whole
like the stud. He's the whole fucking thing,
Wow.
man. He's like big man on campus, the way they described him.
Their
Bro.
names should have been Brett and Lisa.
dude. Man. It was
And,
so graphic.
The sex scene, wait till we get to the sex scene. The sex
best
scene is gonna go from PG-13, it's gonna go to right to rated R.
My gosh.
So chapter 13 is pretty cool because it starts out almost very reminiscent of the scene in Halloween Kills where they play the prank on Big John and Little John.
Yep.
It made me think of that. I mean, not exactly the same scenario, but how they were just doing a prank type thing because
The
it's
atmosphere of it there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the three boys that you see go up to the Myers house, which are Richie, Keith, and Alani. And it says them sneaking up on this house of this couple. Did it have? I thought I had a name. I thought I wrote the couple's name. I might be thinking something else. But it was on Peekler Street, on Peeker Street, which is actually where the Myers house is on the novelization. So it's right down the road because they wanted to scare these. They came and scared, and they came, tapped on the window, and they had these soap windows and right on them, and scared the couple. And then the wife was all pissed off, and the husband was like, I did the same shit. It's not a big deal. And then from there, they're like, okay, let's go to the Myers house. So they head down to the Myers house. And what's the main difference? There's two main differences in the three boys at the Myers house scene. Do you remember what the two main differences are from the novel to the book to the movie, rather?
Fuck. I don't remember.
I
Shit.
don't on this one here.
All right.
Carry
So
Minus
two main
1, 2,
differences-
3 for Joe and I.
Hey, you failed. Yes, sir.
0
Driver's ed
point
test again, Joe.
0.
That by far is the dumbest answer I have ever heard. Nowhere in your incoherent.
That's right.
Ram-
May God have mercy on your soul. Colton, go get my Cliff Notes now.
That's right. That's right.
So the first main difference is when they get to the Myers house, it's not Lonnie that walks up to the front door. It's Richie.
That bastard.
Because remember, like, go ahead, Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. It wasn't Lonnie in the book. It was Richie that they were egging on to go into the door of the Myers house.
Richie.
And instead of Loomis saying, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there from the bushes, Loomis jumps out and yells at them, and they see him.
Get out. Fucking crazy old man.
Yeah. So he tells them to get, he's like, hey, you kids, you get your asses away from here. And they all hauled ass, but they, instead of them not seeing him in the movie and hearing some strange voice, which scared the shit out of him, he just jumps out of the bushes and says, hey, get the fuck out of here, And then Loomis, and then Brackett does come up behind him, just like in the movie. He scares the shit out of Loomis, but in this, he's like, grabs the gun, and Loomis, Brackett's like, whoa, hey.
Oh, yeah, you guys probably talked about that in the last episode where doesn't he like rub Brackett's shotgun in the car in those previous chapters?
Well, he asked about the shotgun. He's like, have you ever had to use this before? Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he's leaving the Myers house in the one chapter, the Myers house, I was calling it the Myers house. I forget what number chapter it was. He asks him if he wants the shotgun. Brackett says, you want this? He's like, no, I'm fine with this. So he does offer it to him. The other thing, which answers a question that I've always asked, is when they're having the dialogue back and forth. More fancy talk. Know what this is, doctors? His house is lined up in rows. You tell me they're ready for a slaughterhouse. Because all he's saying, he's just seeing kids running around, getting high, parking. And I always wonder, what the fuck is parking? But in the book, it says parking and necking.
Yeah, parking, fucking.
It's just parking. I'm like, is that against the law, parking? But now in this, it says parking and necking, which, I guess that's what he was alluding to. But I always wonder, what the fuck is the difference if you park?
Yeah.
So I had to make note of that because I'd forgotten about that. Pretty much the same speech Loomis gives, about you have the wrong feeling. I watched him stare at a wall, looking past the wall, all that bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Play that just like
you guys remember anything else from that scene?
No, I'm just waiting to get to the good stuff.
Yep. Yeah, this middle chapter, I didn't take as much in as these other chapters.
Yeah, the kid stuff, man, it really kind of blew by that.
This is where everybody put the kids to bed because now it's adult time. So this is where they introduce Bob Sims. So Bob is described as an athlete, possible valedictorian, top 3 or 4 scholars in his class, and could have any girl he wanted. And tonight he wanted Linda.
Damn.
Star of Better Call Saul.
Big man. So John Michael Graham is big man on campus.
That's right.
See what other differences I noticed is, of course, they pull up in front of the Wallace house, and they're in the van, and they're talking the same dialogue. We'll rip Lindsay's clothes off, and then they do make. I think Linda says, "Well, if she doesn't fall asleep, I'll just put a Valium in her drink or something like that to knock her out."
Wow.
That's real good babysitting.
Yeah. That's babysitting 101. Drug
You deserve to die.
Yeah, you want some Robitussin? Here, Robitussin. The nighttime achy.
You want some gummies?
That they get out of the car and they walk to the house.
Yes.
Bob doesn't pick her up and carry her to the door. He picks her up when they get to the front door and carries her into the door.
Oh, damn. He ain't fucking around. He's really trying to court this lady.
It's completely dark.
It's totally dark. And they're looking, and they do look around for them a little bit more. And Bob's looking upstairs, and he does see the glow of the pumpkin up there. So he's just thinking maybe they're up there screwing around. Just leave them alone. So they start messing around on the couch. Mm-hmm. And then this is where shout out to Curtis Richards for being very descriptive. Linda's nipples contracted into hard nuggets as Bob flicked them with his tongue.
It's like the guy in Slapshot. Nipples as tiny little rocks.
Yeah, so they were going at it pretty heavy on there, and Michael was going on in his head. The voice is getting bad because he's getting turned on watching them fuck around on the couch. Because you remember, he is looking at them on the couch in the movie, and so he's watching. He's getting all the sensation in his pants and the voices in his head. And this is the different part of the scene of the scene is that in the movie, Linda calls Laurie. Here, Laurie calls the Wallace house.
She goes over there. Yeah.
Right. And they're debating, should we answer it? We're going to get in trouble. But then she says, fuck it. She just answers it. And it turns out to be Laurie looking for Annie.
She's not here.
And that plays out pretty much the same. Up? Yeah. Yeah. So it just plays out pretty much the same, except for it's just a reverse. She's calling there rather than Laurie calling over them calling Laurie.
I would laugh if they did something silly like when they get up and she trips over something and Linda trips over something. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, big note of it. So they're getting up the couch, but Linda does trip. It's like
little nuggets, right?
Just like
Pat, what are you drinking? Some wine?
Yeah, I've been doing wine for the book club. I'm just trying to be a little.
Oh yes, very etiquette. Very
etiquette. Nice. Pinkies out. I'm figuring a little bit of wine.
Very suave. I like that. Very, very sophisticated.
Very suave.
Yeah.
Very suave.
I should get my Gatorade out. I need some hydration.
Yeah, you stay hydrated, my friend. It's key.
So they go upstairs, and Linda does this whole striptease, and she's talking to the jack-o'-lantern. She's like, "Hey, Mr. Jack-o'-lantern,"
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's doing the striptease, which I would love. I wish I was in the movie.
That was hot.
PJ had some good
she's-
nips. Sorry.
That's hot. That's
And
hot.
then I had to write this down because he says how he's getting like jealous. So he walks over there, and she says like, oh, and she's rubbing her hand up Bob's leg, and then grabs his package, and it's made like a big squash in his pants or something like that, or a big zucchini. And oh no, that's what it is. She's talking to the pumpkin and going on, getting all dirty, talking dirty to the pumpkin. And he says, "If you're so into squashes, why don't you try this zucchini, Bubs?"
Damn, man.
Now we're getting food involved here.
I know.
Then she says, "I have a sudden hunger for zucchini."
Is it hungry or horny? Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it's very graphic, and I didn't even write it all down. And I was just like, "Damn, maybe should have."
I'm gonna go back and listen to this when we're done. By the way.
Yeah, it's pretty graphic. The sex scene is very graphic. The phone rings. The phone rings just before they're about to reach their point of their enlightenment, and of course,
The official.
they don't want to answer it, so then Bob
OG.
takes it off the hook, and then they're sitting there talking about it, and then she's like, "Oh, old Mr. Zucchini is starting to get soft and mushy."
Fuck. God, how did Rob Zombie not use this? I swear to God.
Seriously, this was like the blueprint for Rob Zombie movie right here. And the voices in Michael's head are going crazy, and he so wants to do this, but it makes note that he wanted to watch them finish before he did anything.
Yeah, he got a little aggravated about the zucchini talk.
So they both, for lack of better terms, they both, "Oh, I'm gonna come." They come, and then he's thinking he's going to do it, but then that he's going to kill them. But then he backs off because he sees that Bob is going to get up, so he sneaks downstairs and hides in the closet in the kitchen.
That's right.
You know what they should have done? They should have had some Michael grab a zucchini and beat the shit out of one of them to death.
Well, the zucchini here, take this, bitch.
Joe, I cut you. I didn't mean to, bud.
No, I had nothing. I'm really excited about the next scene because it's described so well.
Yes.
Yes, it really is. You guys remember anything else from the sex scene? Did I miss anything? I was trying to be pretty graphic.
No, I mean, if you were to literally read it line for line, it would turn you on because it's that graphic and it's the whole insertion thing and the whole all that. It goes
pelvis and thrusting and everything. I was just like,
I was like, I was like slowly moving my way towards the restroom.
Is this like the Penthouse Forum or something?
Is it? It's like, is this happening? Is this happening? Oh, it's happening. Sorry. I apologize.
It was beautiful.
Michael heads downstairs and hides in the utility closet, just like in the movie. And instead of Bob just going down to get a beer, he's just somebody else's house, man. He's reaching for all this shit. It's like, who the fuck are you? He's grabbing chips. He's looking for peanuts. He's just like raiding these people's house.
Hey, he's big man on campus, bro. You didn't know that?
This shit don't stink, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he does trip over, or something. He trips like over like the counter and knocks all the shit down. And then that's when he hears the noise, the creak.
He hears a creak. That's right. He hears a noise. And he goes to investigate. Am I wrong in saying that? He goes to investigate.
Well, he went out the door. Like, remember, he opened the door like, "Linda, you asshole." He looks it through the thing. Yeah. And then finally he hears another sound, and the thing is that like, "Come on out." And then and then of course Michael comes out.
Doesn't he sound like in the movie, "You asshole"? Is that what
asshole?
You asshole. Yeah.
You asshole.
You asshole. Ain't that right?
That's what it sounds like. I'm sorry.
It's my kind of girl. That's neither here nor there.
Yes.
And of course, Michael comes out of the closet and does what he does in the movie, but it does make note that in the movie, Bob doesn't do anything. It makes note that Bob got a couple of headshots in. He tried to defend himself and hit Michael a couple times in the head.
Yeah. I liked how they described how strong Michael was, the squeezing of his neck and the strength and power and the imagery of him losing the air and the consciousness and all that shit. It was real cool.
Yeah, man. Very graphic on both the sex scenes and the death scenes. Very good.
Yeah. It did that scene justice. So let's say the book did the book and the movie scenes go good together. They're totally separate, but they go good together. They're very good. Both iconic.
And if you guys, I know you guys both read Taking Shape, right? Because there is an interview in Taking Shape with Curtis Richards.
Yeah, what's his real name? Jack something, right? Or could
No, it's Richard Curtis.
Yeah, it's flipped. That's right.
Yeah.
It's just flipped. Yeah. Jack Martin is part 2.
That's right.
So
Good old
let's
Ricky.
see. So
Ricky from the block.
So Bob is dead. So he falls to the ground. There's no mention of him being stuck to the wall, like in the movie.
Yeah.
So that whole scene doesn't exist where he's looking at him and shit. So that's not there.
Ooh, Tom Savini would be proud.
Make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And then they flash back to Linda upstairs, who's talking to the jack-o'-lantern again, saying, "Oh, what's taking him so long? You know, Mr. Jack, you know, why is he taking so long?" And then she lights another cigarette and uses the jack-o'-lantern, the candle, to light a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And then Michael shows up, Ghost Bob. And she's just
yeah.
like, you know, sort of the same thing, like, you know, what's taking so long? What are you doing? And then makes note of her getting up out of the bed naked.
Butt naked.
Butt naked. And she's dangling him in front of his face, like, you know, this is your last chance. You know, what are you going to do? And then she puts her panties on and then says she's going to go make a phone call. She's going to call Laurie. And that's when he attacks. But I did write down what she says.
Yes.
She says, "Oh, I finally got," because she sees him out of the corner of her eye, start walking towards her. And she says, "Oh, I finally get you to move. And as soon as I hide my ass, you want to pull my pants down."
Oh, I can just imagine her. Oh.
And it, you know, he strangles her just like in the movie, but it does make notice. It says Linda's nail was scratching at Michael's hands and pulling skin up, and she was trying to claw at his eyes, but he kept putting his face in the back of her neck.
Closer to the back of her.
So she put up a much bigger fight in the book than she did in the movie.
Right.
That's right. It was such a good scene too. It was described and told very well. Yes.
Exactly. So that is how chapter 13 is ending. You guys got anything I missed? I mean, it was a great chapter. A lot of sex. Cool kills.
This is the chapter I had the least amount of notes in, shockingly. I was kind of surprised. I was like, "Damn."
Because you were too busy enjoying it. That's why. You're like, hey, this is
We're all embarrassing ourselves now.
I think we got Joseph all worked up because he's going to watch Halloween 4 again. So because he loves.
Right.
Oh, hey, what's up, Ronnie?
Hey,
Jamie Lloyd is 50. Joseph.
Anytime I want to see her, I just look at my arm. That's it.
Oh, did they do their major league thing, Pat? I've been.
Oh yeah, I watched it last night. I was chatting with them.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it too, and it was very good. Shout out to those guys, man.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a ball. It was, it just reminds me of what a great movie that is, and that's I got to go back and watch it again. It's been a minute.
If I'm not mistaken, they both said that they feel like it's the best baseball movie ever made. Best.
I would argue that. I get my two favorite. And I said my two favorite sports movies are easily probably Major League on the baseball side and North Dallas 40 on the football side.
Yeah,
Dallas 40.
I got shit from my brother still about that thing the other night. So he's like, "You don't have Rocky in there, you fuckface."
That's North Dallas 40. Isn't that with Scott Bakka or something like that?
North Dallas 40. No, it's Nick Nolte and Mac Davis.
You're thinking of Necessary Roughness.
Oh, Unnecessary. Oh, okay.
Robert Loggia.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Hector Elizondo.
What's his name? What's his name? Was an announcer, right? Rob Schneider, in that movie.
Is he a Necessary Roughness? Is that right?
I think he was the announcer. But yeah, North Dallas 40. That's older, right? That's
it's the late 70s. It's Mac Davis. Lyle Alzado's in that.
Got it.
Nick Nolte. God, I forget the name of the freaking guy that played the coach. It was a real.
And in all fairness, the one we hadn't talked about is the movie with the prisoners with Stallone and Michael Caine, Osaka and Pele. Victory. Good movie.
Victory. Good movie. I forgot about that movie. Good call.
Yeah, that's dope. There's like a string of like great football movies. You got The Program. You got Any Given Sunday. You have Remember the Titans.
And even The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. I mean, you can keep going, man.
Oh yeah,
Little Giants.
It's hard to pick a favorite one, but I got caught up in the nostalgia because Major League is just so.
Lisa had never seen Any Given Sunday, and I had it on in the background, like after the kids were asleep, and she saw Cameron Diaz walking through the locker room. Remember, it's just all those dongs hanging out. It's like, what the hell?
Hey, you know what? And that's a great topic.
Dong and man ass.
You know, great topic of like best basketball film ever, football, baseball, and Major League definitely can vie for the title of best in baseball for sure. Yeah. For sure.
Ronnie does not like Remember the Titans. Not a bad movie. I admittedly probably only saw it once or twice.
I just remember it from my childhood. I just remember the line, "Water makes you weak. Water makes you thirsty." You know that whole Coach Boone.
We have a Halloween guy in that though with Will Patton though. So
That's right. We got Will Patton. That's right.
Oh.
And we
he's got the daughter that mouths off in that movie. Remember that? She's like,
no, that's Hayden Patton. That's not Hayden, is it? Was that Hayden? Hayden Panettiere?
Oh,
She's like, yeah, but you jerks. The little blonde girl.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Hayden from Scream. Yeah.
Wow, she's had a few kids since then.
Yeah. I think that's her.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
we're gonna have to figure out how as a topic, the sports films, guys. We'll have to maybe break it down by sport or something.
Yeah, we could easily do that.
Soccer, gotta put the ladybugs in there.
That's right.
And we're moving on to chapter 14. Laurie finds the bodies and Loomis finds the station wagon.
Is that how they're titled in the book? I never caught that.
No, there's no titles.
Pat,
So I
that's
just
quite
sort of-
impressive.
I just kind of condensed everything because I'm
2
a geek
thumbs
and
up
this
for
is
Pat.
my life. So yeah, Laurie finds the bodies and Loomis finds the station wagon. I figured that was the so it plays out. Let's see where we start. Yeah, it plays out the same. Yeah, because you got to remember she's all freaked out because she just got off the phone here and Linda get choked and she doesn't know what the hell's going on, but she knows something sounds fucked up. So what does she do? She checks the kids. They're cool. Let's go. It does. I did make note the fact that when she goes to take the keys, which they don't mention in the movie, she has a key to the Wallace house because she does babysit there. So obviously she knows Lindsay well because she had the key for when she babysat. So she took a key to the Wallace house. What else? When she does cross the street in that iconic scene of her walking and looking at the house with the great soundtrack, she does stop at Bob's van to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So she does look at the van to see if anything's in there or see if they're in there screwing around, but no, nothing there. So what's one big difference in this scene?
I think we're gonna lose a point again, Joe.
We both suck.
Another demerit. So in the movie, she goes to the front door, it's locked, which doesn't make any sense because she supposedly has a key. But maybe she was just grabbing. She might have in the movie. She might have just been grabbing the key to the Doyle house because she locked the door because it was locked. Remember?
But she goes around back in the movie.
Well, the thing is, she goes around back in the movie, but in this, she goes to the front door. She didn't use the key because the front door was unlocked.
Oh, so she doesn't go to the back.
All right,
Yeah,
meatheads, joke's over.
Laurie enters through the front door, not the kitchen door like in the movie.
Enter
It's unlocked,
Sesame.
and she didn't have to use. It makes note. She didn't have to use a key because the door is unlocked. And then Laurie tries putting the lights on, but they didn't work. And so everybody's like, "Why didn't you put the lights on?" Well, she tried to put them on, and apparently they didn't work. And then she figured they were upstairs, and then she says she was afraid of walking in on her friends having an orgy.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Because she thought they were all upstairs, fucking around together, having a ball.
That's
why I would have made a beeline upstairs.
They were playing with zucchinis and stuff.
Zucchini and squash party.
I think Joseph, we're gonna have to get you a best of Jamie Lloyd episode. I think we'll have to do that for you.
Nothing but Jamie Lloyd's topic, just everything Jamie.
Hey, I'm all for it. I'll do it.
I'm not complaining. Hey, you hear me complain? She's got a lot to talk about. You got Hatchet. You got the actress herself.
Last Boy Scout. Woo!
We can have a whole Danielle Harris talk.
Roseanne.
Roseanne.
Adventures of Babysitting.
Fucking
Yeah.
Keep going. Tell Mom the babysitter's dead. Yeah.
That's a good movie. Gosh, dog it.
You're such a fuck up when she says that to Bruce Willis.
You're such a fuck up. He's like, I'm a fuck up.
She's a bitch in that movie.
He takes the ice cream and throws that shit out. He's like, you would not talk to me like that in my house. You got that?
Laurie here. Oh, and so she's in the house now, and she hears something. She hears like something dragging upstairs, closet door slamming. So she's hearing all this noise.
Yeah.
And then it flashes to Loomis.
Yes.
So Loomis starts to think that Michael may not return because he probably says, he probably won't come back. He's out looking for people to kill because there's not going to be anybody here that he's going to kill. And He's pacing up and down, looking up and down the streets, and then he sees the station wagon a few blocks away, and it's described as a purplish brown color.
Oh,
which is weird.
Purple?
Sounds like my dad's Ford station wagon that we had in the 70s.
What is it, the fucking Barney Mobile? The fuck?
And so Laurie's, she's walking upstairs, just like in the movie, that great scene of her walking up and you see the top of the stairs. So she's walking upstairs and she's thinking to herself, God, I hope this is a practical joke. Somebody just jump out and say, gotcha, please let it be a joke. And then she sees that, the light underneath the door, just like you see in the movie. And then what does she see when she now describe the scene? Because it's different in the book. When she opens the door, what does she see? Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it. Brady's laughing.
No, you made me think of something. I'm sorry, off subject. Did you ever see Bowfinger with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy? Gotcha, suckers!
Yes.
When they film the Chubby Ray. Gotcha, suckers! I love that movie.
I forgot about that movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a very underrated movie.
That's a funny movie. Absolutely.
Okay, but finish up, Pat. I'm sorry.
I forgot. So when
I'm
she comes
up
in,
here now.
Instead of just seeing Annie laying there in her shirt, sprawled out,
guts all hanging out.
Yeah. Annie is naked and she was cut. Annie's cut open from the waist to throat. Her intestines are hanging out, and her throat is slit.
Yeah, it's so graphic, right? It's like holy shit.
Fucking gnarly, man.
But it's even more because obviously she's laying there naked because she says Laurie came in and she saw the legs. She looked up and she went past the pubic hair and then she saw everything. It's a pubic hair. Like, she had those rose on.
She saw the rubbers.
She saw no chonies on, bro. Damn.
Yeah, so, it was the 70s, so they weren't landscaping. So she probably had a big ass bush going on. She had that big fucking hair, so she had a big bush.
Speed kills. No,
gotta dust that shit off.
Another difference here, Bob was suspended by the throat with rope tied from his ceiling fixture, and his stomach was cut open.
Yes. He was
a badass, and he was definitely Rob Zombie material in the novel.
He was into like mutilation and shit, little bit of Terrifier in this shit.
He's very Terrifier, very Rob Zombie, man.
Yeah, he's really overkill, man. He didn't just
pretty
satisfy
intense.
for the death. He was really kind of making sure and having fun with it, sounds like.
And Linda, the closet door opens up just like in the movie, but she's like on a shelf in the closet with that weird PJ Souls.
Yeah.
But it says here she's naked and propped up in a chair, but her body's unmarked except for her throat. It's all blue and her eyes are bulging out.
Oh, see, I think he must have, see that confuses me because he did all that other shit to the others. Why didn't he do anything to her?
Yeah, he didn't cut her open. He just freaking strangled her ass and called it a day.
She must have been a fox.
Now, the most iconic scene, one of the most iconic scenes in the franchise, when Michael, with the Grey Dean Cundy uses the dimmer and you start to see Michael's face. That's like not in the book.
Yeah, it's not.
What happens? She's looking at the bed still, and she starts to see Michael's shadow that's cast from the jack-o'-lantern coming up behind her. Mm-hmm. And as he swings, she ducks down.
That's right. And that's when she heads.
She ducks down, and he grabs her and he tears her. He tears her shirt, tears her blouse, and then she starts to get up, and Michael gets up, and he's standing at the top of the landing, trying to block her from going down the stairs. So she's trying to figure out what she can do. So in the movie, obviously, she falls back over the landing. Here she jumps over the landing just to get away from him.
Sorry, the missus was texting. Did you bring up the thing about the knife in the belt a second ago? Sorry, did you catch that in the book?
Yes, because
like when he pulls the knife out of his belt. I was like, what?
Yeah, it does. I think twice it makes note that the knife is in his belt, like it's just like he's pulling it out.
It's like fucking Mick Dundee.
While I whip this out. Now that's a knife.
Yeah, Mike. None of the films ever had him having the knife like in his utility belt.
No.
Dude, if you ever use machetes like Jason, you'd have to be like the Ninja Turtles with the back of it.
Yeah, he's like cricket. You gotta know crumpet before you know cricket.
Like the big sword in his back, like the Beastmaster. The Beastmaster sword out.
He's like freak. Damn.
I thought, wait a minute, doesn't Hobo Michael and Rob Zombie 2 with his knife, he has it kind of somewhere special too. Like knife's badass.
Well, that knife is big as hell. That thing's a beast.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know Michael's always he's always carried his knife in his hand. If he had a knife, he carried it. That's usually what you saw. Yeah, it's usually what you saw.
He's making no bones about it. He's like, I got this, bitch. I'm gonna stick it right in you.
My hand doesn't get tired. Okay.
And just as she jumps over the railing, Michael goes to stab her, and that's when she gets sliced in the arm, just like in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And it does make note that when he does grab her, no, this is further down the road. My bad. So she obviously she lands the wrong way, fucks up her ankle. That's why she's limping, just like in the movie. And so she runs into the kitchen, and remember, which I've always found this very weird, that there was like a deadbolt in somebody's kitchen.
Yeah, that's weird.
When she deadbolts the kitchen door, that's when he beats the door. Like, who puts a deadbolt from like one room to the next?
You got to protect the food, I guess.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of fatties in that house. I mean,
fat boys. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they steal your food? not in this house. Not in this house.
Yeah. None of that shit.
You stay away from my Twinkies, damn it.
So she takes one of the chairs from the table, and she props it underneath the door to stop Michael. And the door is jammed. There's no rake outside, which was kind of stupid in the movie. When did Michael have all this time and then have time to get outside and put that rake? That was one of those things that is a head scratcher. That was a bad idea.
That rake can stop a 5-year-old.
These additional doors threw me way off. I tell you that.
So she does, she puts her hand through the glass just like in the movie because he's breaking through the door. So she's trying to get her ass out of there. And then she's able to jiggle it and try to get the door open. Then she does, and then she jams it shut again so Michael can't get out of it. So she runs next door, and apparently the asshole that didn't want to answer the door like in the movie, she rings the bell and the lights go on, and apparently the name of it's the Martinson home. So the people that are there is the Martinsons. And she's screaming for help. And they think she's a trick-or-treater, and she's like, "This trick-or-treat and go home. I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight."
That's when you hear that line.
That's out of order. Yeah,
that's out of order. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Now, was it here, or was it when they get back to the Doyle house where the author notes that Michael, can shatter locks like rice paper screens? Did you guys take that down?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Rice paper screens. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell is that? Curtis Richards must have been watching the Playboy channel and definitely doing an 8-ball when he wrote this.
Not bad influences, but I mean, come on. They both make you want to be creative.
But it does make notice. If you remember when he's trying to get she starts when she's by the Martinson house and they turn the light off and turn her away, she's hearing that door jiggle.
Yeah.
And then it makes note. So she decides to start running across the street like she does in the film. And it makes note that he comes out of a different door. He comes out the side door of the house. Mm-hmm. It says Michael comes out of a side door of the Wallace house.
Right. These doors. I'm telling you, man.
How many doors are in this fucking house? Jesus.
Now, Pat, this is where I should know this, and this is embarrassing. When she breaks the glass with her hand, right?
Right.
Is her hand bloody, like when you see her grabbing her sewing needles because of that later on?
Honestly, yeah, it is.
Okay,
yeah.
Can you believe
it's not very bloody, but you do see like streaks of blood on her hand.
I just never put two and two together that until this book. I was like, oh, maybe that's never thought of that.
Well, I thought it was from the cut. No, never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, because if the scene where she's grabbing the needle and she's going like this trying to get it, look at her hand. You'll see like streaks of blood on her hand.
Huh.
Not a lot because it's not a very bloody movie. But
they say it was a 2-inch cut, but it was 5. We're getting picky now.
Very picky. Nitty gritty. Get down to the nitty gritty. Nitty gritty. Any Nacho Libre fans? The nitty gritty.
Same thing, yo. Of course, she comes running. Oh, the keys. Because she knows she had the keys, so she just assumed she must have dropped it on the way. So she did drop it.
This is funny. I'm going to wait for Pat to talk here.
Not the same where she throws the plant up there, wakes his dead ass up, and he's taking his sweet ass time. And then when she gets into the house, she sends Tommy upstairs, and Lindsay says, go upstairs, lock the door. Same shit, as before, like the movie. And she looks towards the kitchen because she feels her hair blows, so she figures the kitchen
that's her
door open down there.
Yeah.
So she's looking, then she's like, "Oh shit!" So that's when she goes into the living room, And then that's when she starts to hear the breathing because he came through.
He's right.
Same thing like
But Pat,
same,
you remember
same
the
thing like in
one,
the movie.
the one thing, and it's not. This was the first time, and it happens the second time. She knocks Tommy down going through the door.
Yes,
Yeah.
This is the first of the 2 times she does it.
that would have been funny to see on camera. Knock his dead ass down.
Yeah. A little
That would have
bastard.
been funny. So let's
It's a
see.
bit more realistic that way. Get the fuck out of the way.
Yeah. Move. Like in White Chicks.
White
Move,
Chicks,
bitch. Move,
No,
bitch.
I thought, oh god, spot on, Joe. Oh god. That's
He's
right
like,
here, right here,
He's like,
right
that's dairy. He's like, what else would be in quiche?
here. Oysters.
He's like, did you know oysters are a natural aphrodisiac?
Oh god, remember the ball gets hit at them on the beach, and he's about ready to talk like himself.
He's like, hey, white chocolate. He's
Oh,
like,
Man, I'm so sorry. We're getting off that. I love that movie.
No, you know me. I don't care. Give
Bro,
me
I
time
talk
to
about that
pour
shit
some
all
more
day.
box of wine. I'm pouring some
Oh
wine.
god, man,
Damn.
the box of wine. Thank God it's not
not the
Chardonnay,
box
the
of
Chardonnay
wine,
ones.
the box of wine,
Box of wine.
like the filet o fish. The
Oh, dude.
box of wine.
I got so hungry going to breakfast in Pasadena that morning. I want to tell you, there's like 3 new barbecue joints. I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. Just want.
Oh, wait till we go
I
out
saw
there,
the
man.
menus and I was like, oh, this is after my own heart here.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to drop 20 pounds just to put 30 on when I go out there.
Well, I've been dropping some here recently, so I'm excited.
I'm trying. I'm dropping them from my head to my ass.
Just take some laxative. You drop about 10 pounds, you'll be all right.
You're goddamn right.
Damn right.
Bill flowing right.
That's right.
Oh, I did make notice of this because where it goes from here after the scene, before Michael lunges at her in the book, it flashes to a scene that actually should have been earlier in the film. It's the scene where Loomis is searching the streets
With
and
brackets.
he's yelling, "God damn you! Show yourself!" You know, he's getting pissed off, and that's when Brackett finds him, just like in the movie.
Yeah.
That scene in the movie is before she goes upstairs to check on the kids before she goes across the street. But
Now-
here it is now, while she's back at the Doyle house and he's in the house.
Now,
So
is
it's
that what you're talking about when Brackett's asking Loomis, what do you want me to do? Fire your gun at his heart. Did you see
Yeah,
that?
it's like yes,
Yeah.
fire, shot him in the heart. Yeah, fire him at his heart.
Sorry.
And there's another thing coming up that's out of order, right? Something
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
Loomis says. Something that I remember just off the top of my head. This is all just.
Well, right here, yeah, because what Brady said is the end of this chapter, where Loomis says, when you see him, fire at his heart. That's the end of chapter 14.
Maybe it's the last chapter where he says something that's.
There is a few things.
Yeah,
The next
part two.
chapter is really good because there's a lot of things different from the end of the movie.
It goes on after he goes out, as we're
Yeah.
going to talk about.
Yeah,
It
it goes
the
on
window.
for a little bit. It doesn't just end like in the film. So
That's right.
if you have never read the book, stick around because it's pretty cool. It's like an alternate take, almost, if you will, or an alternate universe because it's a lot different.
I know
So-
I'm excited about this last chapter. Damn it!
And chapter 15, I'm calling Michael chases Laurie and Loomis saves the day.
Here I come to save the
To
day.
save the day.
With that with Andy Kaufman.
Yep.
The old
Hey,
Andy
he just went
Kaufman.
into the Hall of Fame, Andy Kaufman.
Oh, did they put him in the Wrestling Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's a legend. Man on the Moon. That's a probably a top 20 for me. Love that movie.
Great movie.
Mr. Ventura.
Another Paul Giamatti movie.
Yes, this is true.
I've been playing for an hour straight.
All right.
Hey, isn't that from
All right.
Liar Liar? That's from Jim Carrey.
Yep, you got
Yeah,
it, Joe.
And he's still in. What's her name? Tiffany. Damn it.
Jennifer
The
Tilly.
actress. Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly.
He's like, here she comes to save the day. Mr. Reed. Sorry, Your Honor.
Did you ever see?
Watch
Did we
that.
ever talk
Gotta
about
limit.
the horse racing movie with Richard Dreyfuss, Let It Ride? Have you guys seen that movie?
No, I seen the adult film Let It Ride, but nah, I never seen
Jennifer,
it.
this is 1990.
I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen either one, but I have to go check out the adult one.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly's in it, right? And just early Jennifer
Oh,
Tilly. She's super young.
Ronnie's seen it. He said it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit. Well, I had a race. I grew up near a racetrack, so I kind of went there a lot. Regardless, but Jennifer Tilly's in it, and her boyfriend, as they're at the jockey club in the movie, the boyfriend's telling Richard Dreyfuss, "Yeah, she's got very long legs," and she stands up, and she's like, That's right. They go from my ass all the way to the floor. My legs.
Hey, dude, I love me some Jennifer Tilly.
Bound. You guys seen that movie?
Oh, Bound is dope.
Oh,
Bound
yes.
is good.
Joe Pants is in that. Yeah.
Yes.
I was like Meg Tilly too. I loved her in Psycho 2.
yeah.
I thought she was hot as hell in Psycho
God,
2.
Meg
You know
Tilly,
what?
whatever happened?
He's looking
to her?
through and seeing her take
Dave.
a shower, and I'm like, man, he's got to be rubbing one out.
She does a cameo. You guys got to check out Chucky season 2. Damn it.
She's in
Does she?
it. No shit.
Yes.
I haven't seen season 2. I need to go check that out.
Yes.
How does she
Her
look? Does she
sister,
hit a brick
right?
wall?
It's her sister, right?
It's her sister. Yeah.
Yeah. She looks normal. She looks like an older chick because she's not hot like Jennifer still, though. She's not. No.
Did you guys ever see Jennifer Tilly in The Getaway, the remake with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger?
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Michael Madsen kidnaps her and her husband.
I know
gotta
the
check
movie,
that.
but
What was that again?
He ties the husband up and then he's banging her in the other
What's
room.
it called again? The
The
what?
Getaway. It was
The
a
Getaway.
remake.
Yeah, it was a
Steve
remake.
McQueen movie.
Yeah, it was a remake because I remember seeing the one with Steve McQueen.
Kim
As a
Basinger
kid.
hot as hell in that.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. I think I've seen
James
it.
Woods is in that too. But
James,
the
I got
husband,
Wood.
the husband opens the door and he's all upset. Hey! He's like, you pervert, get out of here. This is just between me and your wife.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's like the scene in Boogie Nights when William H. Macy he's just like,
Oh,
go
you son of
go
a
sleep on the
bitch.
couch while she's getting banged.
Deadbeat.
You're fucking
Yeah.
my wife. Go sleep on the couch.
That's my
Bro,
wife, you're fucking, you asshole.
My wife, you're
Bro.
fucking. Go sleep on the couch.
He blows
That's the
his
most
brains out.
disrespectful shit I've ever seen on film, dude.
That is such. I love. That's like such a guilty pleasure of mine. I
That's a
love
top
Boogie
10.
Nights.
Soundtracks are so good.
The soundtrack, the movie itself. Oh God.
My cock is hard. I want to fuck.
That's right.
My cock is hot. My cock is hard. I want to fuck.
Dude, Sister Christian, and I've never looked at that or never heard that
Oh.
song the same again. Sister Christian.
Dude, the fireworks scene is just one of the best scenes. It was so unnerving. It was, even you felt nervous watching that scene.
Oh,
You're
the
like,
Thomas Jane,
"Ah,
yeah.
man, don't you get there? We got fucking thing to do. Is that we're gonna freaking do it?"
And you know who that annoying guy was? He was you
Alfred
like
Molina.
I know Brett likes
Molina, something Molina.
no, not
Molina.
him, not the guy, the guy that was with
Thomas Jane?
the guy that was with
John C. Riley?
Marky Mark.
Yeah, John C.
John C.
Riley.
Riley.
You guys
Not
ever
John
seen
C.
Star
Reilly.
Wars?
Dewey
The other guy that
Cox.
was like this, talking about this. The guy that gets killed.
Isn't
Oh yeah,
that
Thomas Jane. Thomas
That's
Jane.
Thomas
Yeah.
Jane.
yeah.
The Punisher.
He was
Yeah.
he was the guy that held up the convenience store in Detroit Rock City.
Yes.
Is that him?
I
Oh,
think
I
that's
didn't
him.
know.
Yeah.
He's the guy in the mist.
Yeah, he's the guy. He's
Yes.
the guy in Deep Blue Sea. He
Oh,
was
that
the,
fucking movie.
the shark handler. Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. He was in he was in another one recently.
Dude,
He's
he
kicking
was at
ass,
the
man.
Comic-Con here when I had him sign my Punisher stuff. He signs it like this. He went like this. It was his way of signing instead of like actually doing it. It was a good signature. Worked out.
As long as it's a decent signature, fine.
He had a
It's signing
mohawk
his
in
toes.
when he was there.
You know, I'll be honest. That Punisher movie is really good with,
It
with
is
John
very good.
Travolta. That movie
Kevin
is
Nash?
the John Travolta. Dude, it's so good. That movie's so.
Call the
good.
Russian.
Oh, fucking Kevin Nash, bro. Kevin Nash, bro.
Dude, and the TV show was good though too. I did
Oh,
like
yeah.
with what's his name? Sean
I mean,
Clark's client.
I
What's his name?
liked Dolph Lundgren too. You know, Dolph Lundgren's the Punisher.
Or did you see the second one, Warzone? What was the guy
Yes,
in that one?
that one. Oh, what's his name? That one was okay. That was not bad. I like that one.
Violent as hell.
Yeah, it's very violent. We could do a whole Punisher series. Fuck yeah.
Love the Punisher.
Oh,
Dolph
and
Lundgren, Lou Gossett Jr.
yeah. I even like the series with what's his face, the dude with the big nose now, the new guy from Walking Dead. Fucking
The guy, John, what's his name? Sean Clark's client.
Bernthal.
Jay Bernthal.
Yeah, Bernthal. That motherfucker.
That motherfucker.
That
Sorry,
motherfucker.
we got on a Punisher tangent. That was hilarious.
Oh, so
Where are
good.
we? I forgot. Oh, chapter 15. So yeah, Michael, this is the finale. This is the end of the novelization.
Yes.
So
Hey
so you
Pat,
see
when we're done at the
Lori's-
end,
What's
let me make Joseph the Horror Guy's Day with Daniel Harris thing after this. Just help me remember, okay? When we're done.
All right, yeah, Joseph, hang out. We can break out some Daniel Harris stuff after this. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. I don't give a rat's ass. So I'm going to drink the rest of this box of wine. I've had a rough week. I have a rough week, and I got a really long week ahead of me. So I'm starting now. So Laurie is pondering what it would be like if she was killed. That's because she keeps thinking over in her head.
Yep.
So she grabs Mrs. Doyle's knitting needle. Because a lot of people thought that was her knitting needle, but it wasn't.
Because it was her
Mrs.
bag,
Doyle.
I thought. Right?
That's what's
No.
weird, but it specifically says here it's Mrs. Doyle's knitting kit.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know. So Michael in the scene in the movie, Michael reaches over and goes to try to stab her. And there's in the novelization, he grabs her by the neck.
Yes.
He doesn't try to stab her. And then she swings around and she stabs him in the neck.
Yep.
That's right.
So that plays out a little bit differently. And Laurie runs up the stairs, not checking on him. She just she doesn't know in the movie. She looks over the back of the couch and sees him laying there. She just fucking stabs him because he's grunting or whatever. And then so she just hauls ass. So there's no mention of him laying down for a minute. It's just him fucking grunting and pulling the thing out of his neck and all pissed off. So she runs upstairs and she locks herself in the bedroom with Tommy and Lindsay. Now this is where it changes a lot compared to the way the movie ends. She locks herself in the bedroom. Remember the scene where they unlock the bedroom and she's standing there with Tommy and Lindsay, and in the back you see Michael come up from behind.
And then they're like, ah! And then this one's he.
You can't go to Boogeyman.
Yeah.
And then they see him. This is different. She goes into the bedroom and locks the door behind her.
Right? Yeah.
And she still thinks she's saying I killed him, but then she starts hearing him rustling a noise downstairs. So she knows he's not dead. So before that, Tommy says, was that the Boogeyman? And Laurie says no, because she doesn't think it's the Boogeyman. And she hears a thud and noise, and she thinks he's dead, but now she starts to hear this other noise. And Tommy says, you can't kill the Boogeyman. And Laurie said, I can, I did. Just then, Michael starts bashing on the door.
Yep.
Completely different.
He breaks that
completely different
down. He breaks that shit down.
That's a little bit like Rob Zombie, a little bit in that one, but that was like in the bathtub. But yeah.
That would have been. This would have been a great alternate take. Other movies have alternate endings. This would have been great if they filmed that. So he's banging on the door. So she locks them in the bathroom. Says, "Go in the bathroom, lock the door." Michael's fist starts going through the door, and it unlocks the door. So she runs into the closet and she grabs a necktie. That's how she ties the closet doors closed. And Michael's, she ties the closet door with a necktie. Laurie knocks over a bunch of hangers. And that's when he hears her in the fucking thing. Because remember, she opened up the balcony to try to throw his scent off and they can look out that way. But she knocked a bunch of shit over like a dimwit. And of course he comes and he starts banging onto the thing and he goes for the closet. And see. And she's still going over in her head, like, God, please let this be a prank. She's just got to roll over in her head. And and it says here, Michael gets inside the closet and kneels in front of her.
Yeah, yes. when he gets really close to her, that's when she attacks.
Yeah. So Michael swings the knife at Laurie, and she rolls out of the closet and Michael gets up holding his knife. Well, that's when she stabs him in the eye, and then he gets up, holding the knife, and the knife drops, and then he's standing on the knife, and she's trying to get the knife because now, like in the movie, it falls. She grabs it,
gets him in the chest,
and stabs him.
Yeah.
So she's trying to throw him off because she wants him to get off of the knife. So Michael's swiping at her, almost like in Halloween 2 when his eyes are shot out and he's just wildly reaching at shit. So when he finally does move off the knife, she grabs it and she stabs him in the dick.
She does, because it's eye level.
Yeah, so she stabs him right in the, and it comes up again later. That's why I'm saying stabbing in the dick. So,
oh god,
it says
I'm hurting.
Yeah, originally it says stabbing in the groin. Well, I skipped over this. That's how she gets him to off of the knife. She grabs Mrs. Doyle's perfume bottles and throws it at him, and he goes to move, and that's when he gets off the knife, and that's when she grabs it and stabs him in the dick.
Right in the pumpkin Peter.
Michael falls and crawls over into the corner of the bedroom. She lets Tommy and Lindsay out of the bathroom. The kids wanted Laurie to go with them. They're like, no, we don't want, come with us. Don't stay here. And then, she says basically the same shit. Go down to the Mackenzies, call, send them over here. That whole thing that plays out in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
then something that didn't happen in the movie is about to happen.
Oh yeah, exactly. So Michael is, he's there, he's groaning and whatever, and because she stabbed him in the balls, and so she's wondering if he killed him or whatever. Then trying to see where we go from here. Oh, okay. So boy, I must have skipped. I looked at my wrong set of notes here. My bad. So you flash to Loomis hearing the kids screaming, just like in the movie. Then what happens? This is what you're talking about, right, Joe?
I think so.
Yep.
What's different?
I don't remember. I just know something different. I know something different. Something different does happen. But to get the ball rolling, and I'll go with it. Something happens.
What happens is something that's very reminiscent of Rob Zombie.
Yes.
The kids come running out, and Loomis runs up to them and talks to them.
That's right.
Says, "What's going on?"
Yes.
Yeah. Well, originally they ran and they saw Loomis and they were hiding, and he's trying to coax them out. Come here, kids. Everything's okay. I'm your friend. What is the matter? Tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
And Tommy's screaming. It's him. It's the boogeyman. So Loomis convinces them, assures them, "Look, I'm here to help. Don't be scared of me." So where is he? And they bring him to the Doyle house.
That's right.
And they stay like in the front yard there. He tells them to stay right there.
Well, he said, he says, go across the street. Tell them to call the police.
Oh, yeah. It's go stand by that tree is what Malcolm McDowell says, I think.
Well, this is right here. Yeah. So Loomis is like, I'm here to help. So they bring him to the Doyle house. A neighbor comes out, says, what's going on? Loomis hands the kids to him saying, call the sheriff. Tell him he's here. He's still on the loose. It's Michael. This is where he is. He's over there.
Get brackets.
The neighbor says, "Is this the same? Is this some kind of joke? I've been trick or treated to death tonight."
Yep, that's where this comes in.
That's
out of order.
That's where the line is, guys.
That's right.
And Loomis says, "You don't know what death is." You know what death is? So that the line is actually from this book. Yes.
That is amazing. That is awesome. And I think those are the juicy nuggets, and those are the benefits of doing these reads, because
it's so much
so
stuff.
cool. Yes.
But there's another dialogue that's out of order here too. After we have the shootout here too, we'll talk about it.
So Blake, I think Ronnie had this book when I was younger. I remember reading it during Hurricane Katrina when we didn't have power for 2 weeks. Oh, good! It's a good read. Well, I remember Ronnie saying something about him selling it. He said he sold it.
Probably made some good bucks.
Well, he probably made some money on it, because these things, if you don't own it, man, it's not cheap to get a hold of. So that's why. God bless the guy that's on there. I'm seeing your messages, guys, but I'll explain later. It's not.
No,
I'll explain later. It's not. So then,
I like the Jack Nicholson Ingrid mansion. Remember?
Actually, I could within StreamYard. There's a private chat here. I'll put something here once.
Oh, you don't have to. This is just a beautiful time.
Say hi. Oh, we have a little special guest. Hello.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, sweetie.
Haven't seen you in a bit. How are you?
She said, "Haven't seen you in a bit. How you doing?"
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good.
A little under the weather, but I made it happen.
He said he's a little under the weather, but he's here.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
You see her shirt? Get out of here with this George Strait crap. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You guys just saw him in concert, didn't you?
Yeah. She loves the king. She loves the king of country. She loves him. He's the king.
I sold $300. He made that's pretty much what it's going for right now. $300. Depending on the condition. Where did I go? Oh, so flashes back to Laurie, just like in the. I don't know if you guys saw the private chat thing I sent you, so check that out. It flashes to Laurie, like where Laurie's staggering before Michael. He does the sit-up scene in the movie, and he comes towards her. The great Tony Moran, because we're better than that.
Yes.
So in here, it flashes to her, and she's wondering, she's thinking to herself, I'm wondering if he's dead. She's like, he got a needle in the neck, a hanger in the eye, a knife in the dick.
Needle dick.
And it said, and it reads out like that too, right?
That's what I wrote it word for word. Yeah. Yep.
I think I was listening. I was like,
And she's wondering, if he's still alive, could I kill him? Could I actually kill a person? Because she's only really defending herself. So she's like, can I actually kill him if I have to? Then Michael comes from behind, and snaps. He grabs her wrist, and that's how he snaps her wrist. And then that's when he grabs her and starts choking her. And Loomis comes up, saves the day, and she's pulling on the mask. Now this is the difference here, guys.
Yes.
What happens next?
I feel like I'm going to hell.
So it's the same scene, sort of like the same scene in the movie where how Laurie pulls it up, and then you see Tony Moran's face. So Loomis is at the top of the stairs, so he knows it's Michael because he sees his face. He shoots him, but in the book, he doesn't put the mask back on. Laurie still has it in her hand the whole time.
Oh.
So Loomis comes over, sees her, she's on the floor, and he looks. Michael is getting up, and that's when he sees him. He knows it's him because he can see him. He doesn't have his mask on anymore. So that's when Loomis pumps him full of bullets, and Michael crashes through and goes over. So when he goes over and lays on the ground down there, he doesn't have his mask.
Isn't that freaking crazy?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't catch that. Why the fuck didn't I catch that?
It goes under Deborah Hill's bed.
Yeah. I do remember how he was laying on a bunch of shards of glass. I remember that.
Right.
That being said.
Because he went through the glass.
Yeah.
Here in the movie, you just see it like an open door because she opens it up. He went through the glass.
Yeah.
So she tried to jump. Well, this is going back to when Michael's trying to choke her and fucked up her wrist. She tried to jump down the stairs as before, but Michael had a grip on her because he knew what she was trying to do. Then Loomis sees, because she pulls up the mask, and Michael shoots. He gets shot, and the whole scene plays out where he comes. He sees him and starts shooting him. He goes off the balcony. Laurie falls to the floor, holding Michael's mask.
Oh,
isn't that nuts?
That's crazy.
So she sees him in the other room. He's leaning against the wall, and she's seeing the blood come down from his shot. And that's when obviously Loomis starts pumping him full of bullets. And she describes him. She says, "I see him. He's got black matted hair, a whiter fang like teeth, one eye bulging, and another like one eye bulging like a dead fish, and the other eye like a wet bloody hole." So she's looking at his face because she's got the mask in her hands.
Yeah.
And
when he was laying on the ground,
Loomis says, "Get out of the way. Just go. Get out of here." Which she doesn't say. He doesn't say in the movie. Mm-hmm. And then when Michael staggers, that's goes off the balcony and all that stuff.
They embrace.
The same. Michael falls from the sun deck to the backyard below. So it's part 2. He comes out the front of the house, which everybody knows is incorrect.
Yeah.
But it says here he went out the back.
It was something about Michael when he was laying on the ground that he was like staring up to the sky or something. Like I don't remember.
Yeah, they described it like he was like looking up at the sky. Yeah, there was a little bit of descriptive.
Yeah, I remember.
The idea of what Pat, you're probably going to bring it up here when Loomis circles the house, right? He circles the perimeter of the house. Is that what he does, right?
So what happens, in the movie, what happens next? He just goes and looks at she says, "Was that the boogeyman?" He says, "As a matter of fact, that was." So he goes, looks, and then he realizes he's not there. She starts crying. Boom. Then we have the montage, and the movie ends. Not in here. So Laurie falls into Loomis's arms, crying. So he's holding her up, and Laurie starts. That's when she starts to feel all this pain because but she was running on adrenaline, so now she's in a lot of pain. Yeah. She turns to Loomis and thanks him, asking if he's a policeman, and he says, "No, I'm just a friend."
Just a friend. Yeah.
It's a freaky.
You got what I need.
You got the touch.
You're just a friend.
You got the power.
Oh, baby,
you. All right. So shout out to late great Biz Marquis.
Dude, classic fucking. I remember him in was it Men in Black 2? He's like,
I sang the wrong song with you guys.
He's like, y'all remember that? He was doing the alien thing with Will Smith, the beatbox.
Yep.
And Laurie says, "A friend with a gun, thank God." And Loomis says, "Yeah, whatever. I'm here to help." Loomis looks over the balcony, and Michael's laying there, motionless. So in the movie, you just see him, but Loomis doesn't walk over. Loomis walks over and sees him not there. So here, he's looking over the balcony, and he sees him there with no mask on. That's the scene that you were saying, like describing him looking up at the sky or whatever. So Loomis sees him, so he's a little relaxed. He thinks he's dead. So he goes back, Loomis sees his face looking up without his mask, and he figures he's finally dead. So Loomis watched for a few minutes for any sign of life. He waited to see if he moved, and he did. So Loomis goes back into the bedroom, reloads his gun. Laurie asks, "Why are you reloading?" And what does he say?
Heighten my sense of security from Halloween 2.
Exactly.
Heightens my sense of security.
My sense of security.
All right,
Yep,
knock it
right.
off. Oh, sorry, that's not.
Yep. Taken from this and put in part 2. So Loomis says he's going to go outside to examine the body. Tells Laurie to go across the street and wait for the police. And of course, she says, "No, I want to go with you. I want to make sure he's dead. She can't rest until she knows." So then there's the little montage because it's towards the end of the book, pretty much, where Loomis is reminiscing, about all the things Michael told him as a child, the dreams he had about vengeance on a druid girl who wouldn't return his love, and the lover who mocked him. His dreams about a ceremony, about a cursed gravesite where his head and heart were left to rot because of a shaman's curse, and he was doomed to roam forever, lusting for blood. About Michael's great-grandfather, who had the same dreams and committed murder.
Yeah.
About the revenge they were seeking from someone over 1,000 years ago. Like, why is this happening to me? I had nothing to do with this. About the festival of Samhain or Samhain, and how the festival morphed into this innocent holiday, which it is now, but which is no longer innocent because of all the shit that just happened this night.
Wow.
And
Well,
then it's good.
it
So
gets good.
as he turns around the back of the house, Loomis sees Michael's gone.
He is gone like the wind, like a fart in the wind.
His ass is I'm out of here. His ass is gone. Loomis rushes to the spot and sees flattened grass and shards of glass, like Joe mentioned. No blood, though. Like in part 2, it's sopped with blood.
Yep.
He's made of iron.
And as they both look at the spot where Michael was supposed to be laying, Laurie says, "It was the boogeyman, wasn't it?" Loomis says, "As a matter of fact, it was." And that is a novelization.
Dude.
And, don't forget the scene where Loomis goes, "Ha!" No, that's not.
Yeah. I think I know.
On his arm.
I think I know where Michael went after he fell down and he left. He was looking for his
If it was
winner.
me, I have to take a piss.
He was looking for the very first 24-hour Starbucks.
He was looking for his wiener. He couldn't find it.
Oh.
He's like, "I need this shit to kill."
She broke my dick. She broke my dick.
That's right. That's right.
You know, Blake just brought up a good question. Take a look at that.
What's one thing that happens in the book you guys wish made it to the big screen?
Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Aside from all the dirty parts, I'm
gonna say the bracket scene. The bracket scene where he's teaching Laurie the move and shit. Remember
that? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to see that interaction between Brackett and Laurie. That would have been cool.
I like Annie getting the call from Brackett before she dies. I thought that'd be cool. But,
you know what I would like? I would have liked going back to when Michael's stalking Tommy at the school in the movie.
Yeah.
Richie runs off and runs into Michael, but in the book, they run off and just leave Tommy laying on top of the pumpkin, and he's trying to salvage the pumpkin. And Michael walks up to him. He sees a big shadow, and that's when he looks up and sees Michael, and he can't make out his face because the sun is behind Michael's head. That would have been a great scene to see.
Yeah.
And then he's like, high, like, almost like, just wondering why this adult is wearing this mask and not saying, "Woohoo, yo, trick or treat," but joke's on you. And then Michael just starts to walk towards him, and then that's when Tommy Doyle hauls ass out of there. That would have been a great scene.
You know what? I guess now thinking back about it, I mean, since we're so desensitized to all the gore, maybe the kills when Laurie discovers the bodies, I think that would have been cool to see in the movie, like all the intestines and shit of Annie. And, Bob. That would have been cool to see all that shit.
Let's just see if Annie's bush is as hairy as they're describing it.
Yeah,
unless they're going after Annie's crotch.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's a lot. There is a lot of stuff that's in the book that, man, that would have been cool to see in the film. It would have been super cool.
Hey,
it would have been awesome.
We're open to everybody. You always got to think about the women. I'm sure there's plenty of women that wanted to see Bob Zucchini.
Yeah, Bob Zook.
See how big his eggplant is.
That's right.
As long as it's not mushy.
Oh no,
Good stuff.
I think the Jack-o'-lantern got more play than Bob.
I think so too.
But
This was a lot of fun, guys. I look forward to
this
doing
was
the
good.
second
So yeah, we're going to start. We're going to start the Halloween 2 novelization in 2 weeks, and the same guy that's on YouTube that did the audible version for this novel also did a Halloween 2. He did Halloween 3. He did Halloween 4. So we're just going to keep using him like a bitch, and I will reach out to him to say thanks and to say if you want to come on and chat about everything,
He's my
you're
hero.
welcome to be a guest.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do that in 2 weeks. This was a lot of fun, especially for those that have never read the book, because there's a lot of cool stuff in the book. And there's a lot of things in Halloween 2 that are in the book too. Admittedly, when you guys see it, not to spoil anything, the beginning of Halloween 2, it does pick up from Halloween 1, meaning sort of plays out a little bit like, how the ending scene plays out in Halloween 2.
Mhm.
It does that, but it does it in a different way.
Mm.
So you'll see. There's a little bit more of there's another pretty cool scene with the Elrods. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying this one, Halloween 2, the novelization. It's only $100. So
You can get Halloween 2 for a reasonable rate if you consider that reasonable, $100.
yeah.
So you can buy it for not too bad. They do pop up there, but the original ones, especially the first version with the Ghost Bob with the pumpkin head, yeah, you're going to pay handsomely for that.
Hey, Pat, you don't have the Fog novelization, do you?
No, I want. You know what? And I gotta go
My brother's got
research.
one.
I have to research the gentleman that's done it, the Slasher Cast podcast, or whatever it's called, where he does the novelizations, because he does a couple of other horror movie novelizations too.
Well, remember at the end of this one, he talked about Friday the 13th Part 6 and how that's different. I'm like, ooh, that might be a good one to do.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah. We don't have to stop. Once we go through the Halloween novelizations, I don't own them, but this guy's got them all on Audible. I'll listen to them and do it. We could just compare them. We could just keep doing it. We can keep educating ourselves. I have no problem having a box of wine.
Yeah. I don't mind it. I'm going to probably try to take a relook at how I can dive in deeper to listening to the audio. Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to do like timestamps that helps me remember, or what is it that I need to do to remember key points? Because there's no way to officially cheat on this shit. You really have to read it.
Pause it, Joe.
You got That's the only thing. You have to pause, and that takes your listening time, and it extends it even more. So you got to really plan this shit out. You really got to.
I may be a little anal about this because I'm so passionate. So that's why. I mean, I had to.
No.
Here's a story, guys. See this? This is a one subject notebook. I just bought 2 more when I was at Walmart today because I'm almost done with this one because of the Halloween novelization.
You rock, because to me, this was a very good learning opportunity. This was our first one. This was our first book, guys. We did
adapt our format here.
Yeah, so we can, I'm going to learn from this and see what I need to do to get better. But overall, I know I learned a lot, and I fucking loved every second of it. So I appreciate you, Pat.
No,
we can do those young adult novels by Kelly O'Rourke too. Those are fun too.
Yeah, they're on. I know
they're on YouTube.
Somebody does an Audible version of those on YouTube as well because I've seen them. I don't remember if it's the same guy, but I know they're on there. So for those that don't own them, because I know people charge obscene amounts of money for those too, you can hear them in the Audible version.
$149, $275. That H2 novelization, boy, is going for money.
Joseph, try to go after your dreams, bud, man. That's awesome. Yeah, see what you can do.
Come on, baby. Be an actor, my friend. Go ahead. Once you make it big, you got to give us free tickets, though.
We're going to show Joseph this. Can you see?
You got to give us tickets.
We did promise Joseph. Yeah, there's some cool. Brett's got some cool Danielle Harris stuff.
He signed this mask, and I bought this framed thing on Etsy.
That's freaking awesome.
Yes. That was for you, Joe.
You know what, Joseph? We might do a surprise Danielle Harris edition episode for you, so you can rewatch it as much as you want. You know how Pat's a wizard with this stuff.
We can do it. Yeah, why not?
He's an animal.
Like a Danielle dedicated episode.
You know what? Hold on, I'm gonna Google when her birthday is. We can do like a birthday episode for her.
Ooh, shnikes.
Holy shnikes. Hold on 1 second.
Shnikes.
When her birthday is, I don't know when it is. Joseph, if you know, I'm sure just let me know.
Look at Blake. You're awesome, Blake. Oh
The
shit!
It's
missus
just-
brought me. The missus.
It's just
brought
got a
me
little
some-
sticky in here. A little sticky. In here.
Oh.
Danielle.
If you guys are gonna
Alright.
stay on, the missus brought me some soup, so I gotta.
Oh no, get some soupy, my friend.
Then we'll talk tomorrow, okay?
Absolutely, we love you.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, we can get off here now if you want. But we can
Yeah,
call
if
it a
you
night.
guys want me to call later or whatnot, let me just.
I'm
have some
looking.
soup.
It's so Danielle Harris's birthday is June 1st, 1977. Oh, she's going to be
Ooh, it's coming up.
45.
Sweet 45.
So we
Wouldn't that
can
be
definitely
40?
we
Isn't
can
that 46?
we can reach out to I look. I'll reach out to Danielle. I don't know if she'll come on because I know she's a little wrapped up in their podcast, but doesn't hurt to ask.
If she finds out we're connected to something else, that's probably a no.
I do know,
Hey, brother.
and this don't take this the wrong way, that she kind of does not do much of anything.
Chicken
unless there's a
tortilla,
paycheck.
Blake. Chicken tortilla.
You
Unless
have
there's
to
a
pay
paycheck
her.
attached to it.
Uh-huh.
So
We all about the Benjamins, honey.
yeah, I mean she's super nice, but it's all about the Benjamins when it comes to her.
It's all
No
about
pay?
the DJs. Mm.
Hey, no pay, no play.
Have a good night, Joe's neighbor. What's
Oh,
his
Joe's
name
neighbor,
again?
Frostbite.
I
Hey,
think-
brother. Hey, rewatch it. It was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah, I hope everybody learned a little bit. If you didn't, even if you didn't watch the book, I've watched the book, listen to the book, or read the book. I hope you guys learned something a little bit different. That's different from the novelization to the movie. And we'll be back in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing Halloween too. So the Audible version is on. Like I said, it's the same guy, so you can go listen to it if you don't own it, and enjoy it. It's just a lot of fun to see the differences between the two, especially this movie. I don't recall Jack Martin being as dirty as Curtis Richards was when it comes to sex scenes. I could be wrong, but I haven't read Halloween 2 in a long time, so I'm going to be listening to it again.
So that'll make it fun then, man. It's going to be fun.
Hell yeah.
Cool. So everybody, don't forget tomorrow night.
Horror trivia,
Join
baby.
us. We're doing horror trivia tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, because we are not doing that horror movie podcast on Sunday night because Sunday is Easter. So we'll be spending Easter with our families, or people doing other stuff, or just taking the night off. I got to pack because I'm heading for Alabama the next day, but I'm spending Easter with my brother and the family. So there's no podcast on Sunday. We're going to meet tomorrow night and just hang out, impromptu
Shoot the
horror
shit.
trivia, and just have some fun with that shit and see where it goes from there.
Awesome.
We'll be back on Tuesday night. I'll be on location. We'll be doing a watch along of Halloween 6. But then we're just gonna do the theatrical one, right? We're not doing the
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll just do part 6, and then we'll work our way through the rest of them, and we'll go from there because that seems to be.
I'm
the
just
way.
looking forward to laughing with you guys. That's what's all.
Thanks,
fun.
Blake.
That's
Thanks.
all that
What-
matters, man.
Yeah, Blake. Thanks, bud. I gotta watch your Major League stuff here.
Yeah,
Gotta do that
go
tonight.
back and watch the Major League review from last night. That was a lot of fun.
You know,
It was dope.
I gotta put the notification on YouTube. I can do that. I gotta do that.
Yeah, just go on.
You
there and
can
that's what I
do
did.
it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh no, we suck again.
So that's it. So I'll be around tonight. Anybody wants to hang out, actually, because it's kind of the weather's nice here. So I might go outside and have a seat.
Yeah, it's about 50 here.
Yeah, I'm still in my scrubs. I just put the shirt on for the show. I gotta go wash my hairy ass.
There you go. No swamp ass on the podcast. Come on.
Yeah, no stinky booty hole. No,
None of that stuff. Keep that shit nice and clean.
Dust that shit
Awesome.
off.
that's right.
So I'll be around. And if not, we'll definitely talk tomorrow night. We'll meet horror trivia people. Be there tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Brush up on your stuff. I'm going to get out the Halloween trivia books. Brett's got the Halloween. He's got the horror trivia game. Do you have a horror trivia thing, Joe?
What's that?
Do you have any trivia, anything like that? Anything related to horror? I know Brett's got one because
I'm gonna do some research. I'm gonna write mine out, and I'll have some
Okay.
questions. Yeah.
Pat, you probably
Cool.
got a Halloween book, right? I've got one too, besides the book too, if we need to. So
Yep, I'll break that out, and we'll do that. We'll do some fun stuff. Not just all Halloween trivia, just all horror. Everybody can do some interactive stuff with us in the chat. It'll just be a lot of fun, and we'll just see where it takes us. So
Hey, I got an idea. Like
What's up?
one of us, we should try to stump each other. Like whoever, we'll do like a stump challenge. We get one question, like as the finale, and if we can stump one another, then the winner gets a prize, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
well, then we can rock out with our zucchini.
Yeah. So
Well,
we're
Blake,
gonna have the Trump challenge.
before we go, so Blake, I know from what you and Ronnie were mentioning on your podcast, like, are you guys doing your Friday the 13th thing tomorrow night? Because we're gonna miss it if we go on live. So I just want to know. So I'll watch it after the fact. Yeah, because they're talking about doing some Friday the 13th. They were going to talk about, was it part 6? Because they talked about part 5 last week. So if you guys are going to do it, then we'll just catch it after the fact. But yeah, we'll be doing trivia. We'll be hanging. We'll start the holiday weekend for those. For our Jewish friends, happy Passover. For our, other religious friends, happy Easter. And we'll go from there. So we'll be back tomorrow night. And so I'll be around, guys. If you want to hit me up, I just pressed the wrong button here, and then we'll call it a night. So thanks everybody for hanging out.
Yeah, if you guys are around, I'll try to get on. Okay.
Good night.
Later.